M. Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog, kicks96country.com. Our guest today from Nashville, Tennessee, all the way from, the great north, the way north up
way
there.
north, yeah.
Much more further north than we typically get around here. From Alberta, Canada, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's
Please
correct,
welcome to Kicks96 Studios, Chance Tomke. How are you, Chance?
We're doing good, man. We're excited to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you've got a brand new single, all right? Behind Bars.
That's correct.
Okay. Yep. And it's cool. It's like feels like a Roadhouse kind of feel. I dig it, you know.
Yep.
But we're gonna introduce you to Chance and let my audience get to know exactly who you are. Now you're farm boy. You're farm raised up there in Alberta, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, for folks who've never been, I've been to Canada before. I've actually been.
Oh, you have?
I've been to Calgary. Not
okay. So
yes.
from Calgary, I was about 7 hours north.
Okay,
of
there.
Calgary.
Yeah. I see. I knew that I was close, but
Yeah.
not. I was like, I'd never made it as far to Alberta, but I've been like Calgary.
What were you doing in Calgary?
Actually, I flew into Calgary. I actually was staying in Banff.
Oh.
For a couple, so you know
Nice.
you're familiar with Banff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I was up there
absolutely.
for like a vacation, and
Did you guys go to like the Fairmont or something?
is that the big castle looking
Yeah.
hotel? Yes, that's where we stayed.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's
there, hey?
gorgeous up
Yeah.
there. But I was up there in the spring.
Yeah.
And
It
there
was
were
built in like the 1960s.
yes,
I think,
it
man.
looks.
There's
It
so much
literally looks
history
like a
there.
castle.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's got the lake right out
Yes, it
front.
does.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful.
Now I was there in the spring and it was all frozen over, but I mean, spring was coming, so there were all these signs, very pronounced signs. That were like, "Hey, it's cool to wander. Be careful there of the
yeah.
bears."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going back inside."
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to say. And I'm
Yeah,
going to look out the windows and go, "Oh, that's really pretty."
Yeah.
And my friends would go out and I'm like, "Yeah, you guys enjoy the bears. I mean, the nature."
Yeah.
So I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But now that's not Alberta, but it's near Alberta. Please, for the folks who've never been to Canada, never been like outside the United States, give us a real quick rundown of what Alberta's like.
It's actually like a blue collar province.
Mhm.
Like it's like there's oil and gas industry there. There's a lot of forestry, agriculture, and yeah, like it's how can I say it, man? It's Alberta. I think Alberta is actually one of the most beautiful places in Canada because of the Rocky Mountains and all the rivers flowing through it. But like, man, where I grew up, like I said, I grew up 7 hours north of Calgary. And I grew up in a town where there was like only 2,500 people.
Oh wow!
And but from there, I lived about 20 minutes out of that town, just on 10 acres with my mom, and we farmed. We had chickens, dogs, cats. We actually raised elk.
Raised elk.
Yeah.
That's great. I've never heard anybody say that before they raised elk.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know what elk is. I do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I've never seen an elk.
So what we would actually do is the velvet off of their antlers.
Oh wow, okay.
So we actually, a Japanese company would come to Canada and they would actually buy up all the velvet off of it, and they paid by the pound. That's how we made our money. So we'd actually when I was younger, we'd put up fence and pick rocks and roots and everything like that, and then we'd run these elk through these chutes, and then we squeeze them, and then we go in with like a hacksaw and we cut off the antlers, and then we take the antlers and freeze them because the antlers would grow back, right? So then we'd freeze them, and then there was Chinese companies that would buy these pelts, and they'd make medicine out of it for arthritis.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of a big industry, but kind of all went to hell when the what was it, the foot and mouth disease came out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, it kind of hurt the family quite a bit. So
really?
Yeah, we just yeah.
But your family still farms up in Alberta. I mean, I'm
my
assuming,
mom still lives up there actually, and then I have a brother as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So all of that to say that you kind of come with like real country roots,
Yeah.
Like I said, blue collar farm boy. Now being Canadian, you real quick side road. You actually played hockey.
That's correct.
All
Yeah.
right. But an injury took you out of that. Were you playing music before your hockey? Okay, so
I'd always actually music. I always loved music, man. I've done it ever since I can remember. So I don't really tell a whole lot of people about it because I don't like sympathy or whatever. But I lost my dad when I was 8 months old, so I never met him. But he was actually very musical, and when he passed away, he left behind a guitar that my mom bought him. So I don't know. I always gravitated towards music, man. Like And I remember being 3 years old, like kind of confused. It was kind of hard to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
And but that guitar mount, I just loved it, and I just beat the hell out of it and tried to play it. And
That's how all of us learn how to play.
yeah, you know, I just started messing around with it, and then but I always loved that, but I always loved hockey, so I'd always kind of do both of them. But I was more of like a just play in my closet kind of thing, you know what I mean? I never really pursued it. And then, if being honest with you, man, like after from then on, I always did hockey. That was my thing. That was my thing to like escape me from kind of what happened in my life. You know, it was pretty rough life how I grew up. Struggled a lot. My mom was broke. She had no fucking money or anything like that. But you know, I'd always have to work and you know pay for what I wanted to do and stuff. So, but I always played hockey, loved it, and then I ended up playing Bantam AAA, which is a high level as a 12 and 13-year-old, and and you can actually get drafted from there. So I played that, and then I was 15. I made the midget AAA team, and then at 16, I went to the All-Star game. I won MVP of the league that year, and I had a really good year. And then I ended up getting carded with the junior A team, and then I went up with them when I was 17. But when I was in a training camp in actually Orange County in California, and I was playing, and I went in my butterfly, and I tore something in my groin. I didn't know what it was, and I just kept playing on and playing on and playing on. Soon enough, it just broke.
Oh yeah.
And that pretty much ended everything. And I jumped around in the juniors a little bit, and ended up playing like 11 games, and I ended up quitting because I just couldn't handle it, and I had to get surgery. And by that time, it's only from 18 to 20, right? So it'd be a year out plus a year for surgery. Right then, my career was done, right? So I just said, hell with it, and actually went to work and started. Yeah, I was pretty depressed. Started drinking and doing drugs and stuff. It wasn't good, and then 21, I got really sick. I got it's called Crohn's disease, so it was in the stomach, and they took 2 feet out my intestine, and like I thought I don't know, it's kind of cliche to say, but like it felt like I kind of died but came back to life. And after that, man, something clicked in me. So that's not who I want to be. I want to be that person. I want to do something great for the people, and maybe I can help people with something. And that's when I actually started playing guitar and singing a lot more. So that's how I kind of got into it.
Well, I mean, your story is real, and it's visceral.
Yeah.
It's like it's a story that it's not uncommon, especially in
No,
in
it's
music,
not. Yeah,
you know?
and that's the thing too, man. Like when I was younger, I didn't know how to handle all this stuff going on. Like, and then I remember being 16. That's actually when I wrote my first song. I lost my grandfather to lung cancer, and then right after that, I lost my auntie. So that was my real dad's family. And I lost my auntie to brain cancer, and that was devastating because they were there was such a big part of me. I loved them so much, and when they passed away, it's like felt like I was losing part of my dad again, you know. So like after that, I started actually writing a bit, but just kind of doing closet stuff, you know. And that's when I started writing music. And then when all that happened, when I was 21, that's when I started pursuing it. Yeah. And started writing and getting out and playing gigs, and you know, doing all that stuff.
Well, now your songwriting, your music, you know, it's described as very deep and very soulful, and obviously it comes from a very real place.
Yeah, it does, man. Yeah, for sure. And like what I was trying to get at earlier is like I was young when that happened, and I didn't know how to deal with it being that young, right? And so I went to drinking and stuff that's not good for your soul, right? Well, I don't really think it is, you know.
It's not.
No, and worst thing I ever did was have a victim mentality, being, oh, this happened to me, the world sucks, everything sucks. But it's when you take away being like having a selfish mind that's about you, which it's not, because there's actually people out there that have it 10 times worse than you. And when I realized that, I was like, man, like this happened for a reason. I should embrace it and not dwell on it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much how. That's like my story of like me getting into music, and I just absolutely love music because I think music's like a great healer, and it can heal a lot of broken parts of your body.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
You know, like all the broken pieces that have happened to you. Because man, like life ain't easy.
No, no.
Life's tough, man.
And country music is
And
like
that's what I love
that's
about
the
country.
book,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's storytelling, and
It
and
is.
it's real stuff. I think, and actually, to tell you the truth, I think it's kind of what's missing in country. I've a little bit.
Oh,
So.
I would absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, anytime that you've got someone who's got a story and is able to communicate that story through music, particularly country music, it's going to hit.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to connect with your audience.
Yeah.
All right. Now you're not really new to. I mean, you're 2 albums in. Am I right?
Yeah, I did a record in Calgary. I did my first record. I wrote all the songs on it, and I started going to the CCMAs, and I met a good friend of mine, Aaron Goodman.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, we know Aaron. We're
yeah,
well.
Yeah, and me and him just clicked, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta come down to Nashville. This is where, if you want to do music, this is where you gotta be." So like, listened to him, and I came down, and we started writing, and he introduced me to co-writing and working with other people and stuff. So that was a really cool thing. And then he helped me put together an EP, and we released that in 2018. And then he got so busy with his artist work that he put me in touch with another guy named Greg Bates. He's really well known in Nashville, and he had like, I think, a top 5 hit back in, was it 2012? Did it for the girl, and started working with him, started writing, and we were actually in the midst of doing a record in 2019. So we cut 3 songs, and well then 2020 hit.
Oh yeah, then COVID hit.
Yeah, the COVID.
You know, the years that changed everything.
Yeah.
You know.
So everything got put on hold, and now we're actually going back in the studio here in the next few months, and going to finish the record and get it out hopefully by next year. So.
All right. Well, let's talk about the first single off of this record. It's Behind Bars. It's charting right now.
Yeah.
Talk to us about
It's
that.
doing really well, man. We're really impressed by it.
Well, talk to us about that song. Is it one that you wrote or is it one that you found?
So the good thing about songwriting is you work with so many talented writers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were writing songs, and actually this song was pitched to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, and I always like to cut outside stuff because I like to help songwriters out, because I know how hard, like, it's tough to, you know, get cuts out there, right?
Yeah, it is.
So I was like, man, this song is awesome. Like, I just loved the storytelling to it, and like it was kind of rocky and edgy, and I loved the rock side, and it just clicked with me. And cool story about this one, actually. Greg, when I was like, dude, this Behind Bars is really cool, I'm really thinking about cutting it. He's like, really? He's like, man, like, it's a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it is.
He's like, dude, like, Blake had this on hold for like 8 months in 2019.
You know what? I absolutely could hear Blake Shelton singing this one.
Yeah. And actually, I think Greg said he was really interested in recording it, but he got pitched another song by a hell of a writer in Nashville, Hardy.
Yeah.
Which was God's Country. So like, you can't pass that up, right?
I guess, yeah.
I actually think Blake ended up cutting that one, and this one was kind of floating around, so I was like, oh.
So you got Chance Tomke got Behind Bars.
Yeah.
Now, for somebody who hasn't heard the song yet, what's the song about?
Well, it's kind of about like separation and divorce, and you know how like going through a separation, divorce, it's very traumatizing. It can be really, like, it can hurt, right? But it's a kind of funny, like it hits the funny bone, I think. So it kind of talks about not being a prisoner of your emotions, like not hold on to the pain, what happened from the separation or divorce or breakup, and just to let it go and try to have fun with it. So that's what the song kind of means for me.
All right. Well, it's definitely, like you said, it's a banger.
Yeah.
It's got like a rockin' style. So even though it's about separation, divorce, it's not like a weepy cry, you're just gonna go sit on the side of the road and cry.
Fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun tune.
All right, and it's charting now. If you want to hear it, make sure you call Kicks 96. We'll be happy to play it for you. All right, Chance. So if somebody watching, is listening to this story and is thinking, man, I've got to know everything I can about Chance Tomke and his musical history, where do they find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can go to my website at www.chancetomke.com. And you can also, I'm really active on my Instagram and Facebook page. So if you just like put my name in, Chance Tomke, and then I'm on like all streaming platforms, whatever you like to use. I'm on like Pandora or Spotify or
Absolutely.
iTunes or whatever.
So find Chance Tomke and
yeah,
his
please
music.
do give me a follow, and we'll be putting out some more music. So
Tell
stay
him
tuned.
hi and tell him welcome to the United
We
States
love
from
the US, man.
from the farm in Alberta, Canada,
Yeah.
where he raised elk and played hockey. And it's like it's I love it when I get to meet artists who have stories like his because it's so real.
Yeah.
Thanks for visiting.
Absolutely, brother.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely.
Look for a live performance from Chance elsewhere here on our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time on another artist video blog here at Kicks96country.com.
Behind bars, it ain't no joke. Just doing my time, paying for the crime of a long gone heart I broke. Yeah, life's hard. Behind